Okay guys, so this is my studio setup here as you can see it. There is some acoustic treatment on the walls and on the side walls. And in the background you see the white tubes. It is acoustic foam, and behind the tubes there are two other layers of acoustic foam to absorb all the low frequencies so that you have a very linear and nice sounding room. Since I'm doing mastering in this room, it's very important to have a very good response from the room, a very linear room where the frequency response is as flat as possible from 20 Hz to 20 kHz. And here you can see my Dynaudio speakers. They are the model Dynaudio BM12A, and I use them in combination with a Dynaudio subwoofer. So it's a full range playback system, and I work on this system since over a decade now. I think it's maybe 12 years now since I work on exact these speakers, so I know them pretty well and I love them. Here you see some Genelec reference speakers. I use them most of the time as a reference set and to balance low mids and high mids. They are pretty nice in this area to get the levels right. And here we have a Roland SH201 synthesizer. It is very nice for pad sounds and ambient sounds because it has some very rich and analog sounding waveforms. So I use it most of the time as pad synthesizer and background sounds. And I love also the reverb and the delay which it has built in, because it sounds very nice, and you can have very long reverb tails. You just press one note and there's such a smooth and nice reverb going on. Then here you can see some other synthesizers which are not plugged in at the moment. I have a Nord-Rack and a Virus, and behind is a Mackie analog mixing desk which I normally use to handle the signal coming from the synthesizers and to run it in the input from the audio interface. As I said, at the moment it's not plugged in because I'm not producing music, because I'm just focusing on mastering. And the Nord-Rack, probably these two synthesizers are the most famous synthesizers for Psytrance or also for electronic dance music. The Nord-Rack is a really nice analog sounding noise machine. Okay, so now let's see what else do we have. Now you're gonna see my analog high-end mastering equipment. The first unit is a Höf Dynamic Master. It is a soft knee mastering limiter, and it's very nice on low mids. If you apply the limiting process, it adds some very nice sparkle to the low mid frequencies and it balances it in a very pleasant way. And it also have a soft knee option, which means you can apply the limiting process in hard mode or in soft mode. Personally, I use it in soft knee limiting mode when I have a track where there are too sharp transients. For example, if you have a kick drum which have a very sharp attack, you can limit it in soft knee mode a little bit, and then it smooth out the transients in a very nice and harmonic way. And also on percussion sounds, when they are too sharp, I apply the soft knee mode. When there's no need for that, I use it in the hard knee mode. Then below we have an Avalon 747 mastering finalizer. It consists out of an opto compressor, some tube distortion and a mastering limiter. The compressor section is, since it's an opto compressor, it has very slow attack and release times, which makes it not perfect for Psytrance music or dance music with 4 to the floor kick drums, but it sounds very nice on chill out music, on acoustic music and on classical music. Everything where you have a more natural sound and you don't want this snappy transient sound. And on the right side you have the equalizer section, which is, in my opinion, the most awesome piece on this unit, because the equalizer is just incredible smooth. It sounds incredible nice. It has 6 fixed bands 40 Hz band, 160, 500, 2K, 5K and 32 kHz air band. And especially the air band, it's so incredible nice. I love it. I use this equalizer on every track I'm mastering in my studio. And sometimes I use the equalizer on the side signal, and when you apply the air band and the 5K kilohertz boost, you can enrich reverb tails and delay tails in such a pleasant and smooth way. It's really a great piece of unit. Also, you have the option to apply tube distortion in a subtle way, which is kind of a coloring mode. So it's a pretty nice and expensive piece of unit, which I use almost every day in my mastering process. Then let's see, what else do we have? Here we have the Teagler Cream. It's also a compressor and a smile EQ, which means it's a low and a high shelf boost, which you can apply before or after the compressor section. You have a sidechain input where you can low cut the signal by 60 or 120 Hertz. And I sometimes use the compressor section on dance music. I just touch the signal a little bit, and it's more just for gluing the sound together and coloring a little bit. The smile EQ, the low and the high shelf boost, is also sounding very nice and smooth. And it has sometimes it has 1 dB steps, which is sometimes a little bit too much for mastering, because in the mastering process, sometimes you use smaller steps like 1/4 dB or half a dB steps. But yeah, anyway, it's a great piece of unit and I love it, and I use it in around 50% of the tracks I'm mastering. Okay, so this was my studio setup. I hope you enjoyed my mastering studio and my equipment, and I'm pretty excited now to start the course with you. So let's dive into the next video and see you there.